Welcome to Hoop It All Basic Techniques, a series of 4 lessons that lay a foundation for understanding the relationship between our embroidery machine hoops and Hoop It All hoops. Lesson 4 introduces planning and executing your oversized project manually without using digitizing software. This lesson covers the process of planning your project, including stitching your design. Probably the most helpful aspect of designing your project without using software is using templates. You will see several ways to use templates to create and align your design. In order for this lesson to be helpful to you, you need to have a grasp of the concepts of stitching field, hoop measurement, and overlapping stitching fields within the Hoop It All hoop. If you have not yet reviewed the first 3 basic techniques lessons, you may find it helpful to do so before viewing this lesson. Sometimes an actual project is the best way to convey concepts. For this lesson, we will explore the steps to creating a combined design for the back yoke of a shirt. If the shirt is already made, then make a template of the yoke by tracing it. This will help you with aligning the embroidery designs. If you are in the process of making the shirt, then making a full-size copy of the pattern piece as illustrated in the picture will assist you. You will embroider the fabric and then use the pattern piece to cut the fabric. Embroidery can slightly alter the fabric, and thus cutting after embroidery will ensure that your fabric piece is the correct size when constructing the shirt. If you are using purchase designs on a card or CD or USB memory stick, there should be a design sheet that includes details of the design. I selected the designs for my project from my embroidery machine's user manual. While it includes graphics of the embroidery designs that are built into my embroidery machine, it does not include the dimensions. So I went to my embroidery machine to review the dimensions of the designs I selected, and then resized and adjusted the designs to fit into my project. This screen tells me many things about my design, including the dimensions in millimeters, how many thread colors, and approximately how long it will take to stitch the design. This sketch from Lesson 2 is helpful in visualizing how the use of paper templates will be helpful. Also, it will be easiest to align the 3 designs I choose if I start with the center design and work out from there. If you cannot scan graphics but can copy them, then make copies and increase or decrease the copy size until you achieve the approximate dimensions you desire. The point is to create templates that you can use on the Hoop It All template to verify your design in both size and position. This video illustrates the progression from pattern piece to garment template to auditioning a variety of design configurations before deciding on the one I will use for my project. You can see how using the templates is helpful to visualizing the completed project. Follow the instructions that come with the Hoop It All hoop for how to place a stabilizer on the hoop. Because I am putting embroidery on a garment, I used wash-away sticky stabilizer. I then aligned the Hoop It All template under the stabilizer so that I can use the template to align my materials in the hoop. If I were to embroider on a completed garment, I would put markings on the stabilizer in order to help me properly align the garment. If my plan is to embroider on fabric and then cut out my pattern piece, I don't need to mark the stabilizer, but I will need the template I created once the fabric is placed on the stabilizer. To prepare my garment, I removed tags from the wrong side and marked a center line. I then aligned the center marking on the wrong side with a center line on the Hoop It All template under the hoop, while I aligned the yoke bottom with one of the lines on the template, thus properly aligning and centering the yoke within the hoop. The yoke was then hand-pressed into place on the stabilizer. Then, using the design measurements, I measured and marked the center of the first design and its approximate width. Then I marked the center for the 2 side designs. These marks will assist me once I move the hoop to the sewing machine. I also selected the thread colors for my design. If I were embroidering a pattern piece, I would use the template I created to mark an outline of the pattern. Then make center placement marks for each of the 3 designs in a manner similar to the markings on this completed yoke. There are many fine wash-away markers available that do the job nicely. Use the tools on your embroidery machine to aid your design alignment. When I select the centering button, the machine moves to the center of the design. I adjust my machine settings and move the hoop-it-all hoop to align the needle perfectly with the center mark on the center design, and then stitch that design. After I rotate the second design to get it aligned, I find the center, adjust the position of the hoop-it-all hoop within the bracket, and stitch the second design. I stitch the third design after making a mirror image of the design and moving the hoop-it-all hoop. The finished product is exactly what I wanted to achieve. The two side designs just touch the center design, making the design look like one continuous embroidery, even though it was stitched in 3 separate parts. The process is basically the same whether or not the design is for a single hoop width or for a double wide hoop-it-all hoop. This video illustrates how using templates to create my design helps me to not only visualize what the design will look like, but also visualize any changes I may want to make to the design itself before stitching. By using the mirrored design strategically, I was able to create somewhat of a heart-shaped effect. I saw that I would prefer the design to be square instead of as it is here, which is slightly longer than it is wide. So I altered the design dimensions within my embroidery machine before stitching it. I would normally use my digitizing software to create a design like this for embroidery, but for this project I used designs and decorative stitches in my embroidery machine to create a pillow top with a message. Congratulations! You have completed the Basic Techniques module of 4 lessons introducing the basic concepts of using the hoop-it-all hoops for your machine embroidery. The second series of lessons, Digitizing Basics, begins instruction on using software to plan your embroidery project. I welcome your questions and feedback as I plan to add more classes and projects for the hoop-it-all hoops. A composite of videos of all 4 lessons and PDF print files for each of the 4 lessons will soon be available for purchase at AmericanStitchworks.com. Thank you for taking the time to view this video series. I have been a home sewer for over 40 years, and in 2003 I established my machine embroidery business, American Stitchworks. I enjoy teaching sewing, machine embroidery, and computer digitizing techniques, and love creating new projects using the hoop-it-all hoops. I wish the same successes for your embroidery projects.